so now moving on in the book, it talks about how the old rednecks were a very proud people and how they had cracker pride, which was very similar to what is known as the black pride. And Dr. Thomas Sowell states that this was not the type of pride that someone would have who has some type of large industrial development or who has discovered something that's beneficial.
Now, let's break that down. What is black pride in the modern day? And I got my notes here with me, so I'm able to articulate this in a way that we can understand it. But black pride can be anything in modern day. It could be from stepping on somebody's shoe, staring at somebody for too long, and then, like I said earlier, accidentally bumping into somebody. Even a smile can trigger a reaction out of somebody, and you can be unalived by all these things in the ghetto. Like, this is a sign of extreme disrespect, and it's crazy because you can commit a crime and not get unalived and not get turned into the police, but as soon as you step on somebody's J's, your life is pretty much over when you're in the hood. Let's continue.
This was a different type of pride. It's a pride that took no level of disrespect. And the old cracker culture supposedly had a culture that was steeped in violence, in which many members of that culture and that society encouraged violence. And they had different forms of violence of biting ears off and gouging out eyes. Wild stuff that is being reported is coming from that culture, right? And so when we read in the book, there's an instance where there's two people who are supposed to be friends and good friends at that, and one of the friends said something to the other, and the other one took it as a level of disrespect, right? And he got offended over the comment that the other supposed friend had made. And as a result of this, they got their rifles and they went and dueled it out, right? This is how serious this culture was when it came to disrespecting people. And so they dueled it out and they fought it out with the guns until one of them was laid to rest. And so what was also surprising about this narrative in the book is that the people who drew near to the duel when it was getting ready to happen, they encouraged it, right? This is the mindset that they had. They encouraged it and they pretty much instigated it on. And then the person who won the duel, they cheered that person on and they pretty much raised his social value, the killer.
Again, what is important here is not the isolated incident.
So in modern day, we largely see this when you're slapboxing somebody or being initiated into a gang, where someone or everyone in the gang is going to beat you up as an initiation ritual, and then you're kind of forced to prove yourself, but then they pull the wool over your eyes, and then they say that you're going to have to do something else in order to earn your stripes. But initially, your thought process is, okay, if I get jumped in, if I get initiated into the gang, this is what I have to do to be a part of this brotherhood, because they understand that there's no fathers around. There's only mothers that are guiding these people, right? And even their own family are probably doing some foul shit to them, and they're thinking to themselves, well, I don't have any other choice. I keep getting beat up. I keep having bad things happen to me. I need some protection, because if I don't, and I keep running out here without a gang, bad things are going to happen. So what's happening is, after they get initiated, they say, hey, you're going to have to do something else to earn your stripes. You're going to have to commit a B&E, which is a breaking and entering, right? And so they're going to have to do this over and over and over again. And then the gang members, they know that if you're under a certain age, if you're not 18, in Texas, the legal age is 17. So if you're under 17, pretty much 16 as well, then you're just going to get out in a year or two. Maybe sometimes you may get even released that day, or maybe even in 90 days or something like that, depending on your record. And then you're back out on the street, you're doing work for the gang, and then they make you feel like you still have to continue to do more and more and more. And so that is the modern day version of that. And so, I mean, like, it could be just a 1 or 2 B&Es, or it could be 2 or 3s. I mean, I don't know how many times, but let's get some more.
Again, what is important here is not the isolated incident itself, but the set of social attitudes which allows such incidents to take place publicly with impunity, the killer knowing in advance that what he was doing had community approval. Moreover, such attitudes went back for centuries on both sides of the Atlantic, at least among the particular people concerned.
What attitudes? We're talking about the attitudes of praising people who commit murders and do killings, and also encouraging people to go out and duel, to fight, to battle, to clash amongst each other. Notice that it says in here that these attitudes go back for centuries. What does that mean? That these attitudes continue to find avenues of expression through people, right? Humans are like customizable characters, meaning any type of social values, morals, cultural practices, any and every type of human could express that. And so these attitudes here of glorifying criminals and encouraging people to duel and all this, he's saying that this is going back for centuries and finding expression in the people of the British Isles in those lowest levels of development, then finding avenues of expression throughout the enslaved blacks in the South, and then continuing on into the black culture and black community, right? Finding avenues of expression until people say, you know what, we don't want to partake in those type of values, morals, cultural practices. We want to replace that with something else. Why? Because humans are customizable, right? They don't have to keep one thing and one thing only. You can continue to change, pick up things, drop things. You can do that when you understand the human power of creativity and will.
Brooklyn is right on the money. Brooklyn is right on the money. Humans are customizable. Hence why you see the rise of wigs and the weaves in the black community's women, because from the outside looking in, for me, it's painfully obvious how insecure and unhappy they are with themselves to even put someone else's hair on top of their head. But somebody told them this will be cute, and so then they start competing with each other, and then they start trying to see who has the best wig and who has the best weave. And it started with their grandmothers and then their mothers and now them, which is why you see men who are my age, 18 to 30, avoiding them or disavowing these women like the plague, because they're not doing it for us. They're doing it for adoration and approval from other women, and it's all insecurity. I mean, like, we could go on all day with this. I mean, there's still more of this video. I'm going to drop the link down below so that way you guys can check it out. But we had a great discussion today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this type of content? This is one of those things where not many people are going to be covering it, because the type of conversation that needs to be had, it's not entertaining, it's not fun, it's not great to look at. So there's not going to be a whole lot of traction within this type of conversation. But I can just tell you right now, guys, from being around a lot of these people and living in different type of places and experiencing different types of cultures, you know, I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again, most people don't want their kids or family members to associate with anyone who's within the black culture or within the black diaspora, which is America. You know, if you're African, if you're Nigerian, that's a completely different situation. But if you're American, they're gonna look at you like you're part of that culture, and they don't want to pollute their own culture with you in it. So, you know, I hear a lot of guys talking about some, man, Latinos are racist. No, not at all. They just don't want their culture polluted, you know. And then you have Europeans and Russians, like, well, they may, you know, talk to you, they may have fun with you, but as far as, you know, reproducing with kids and a family, and no, they're not going to do that, because again, it just goes back to what we put on display for the world to see, right? The Sha'Carri Richardson person with the green hair, the wig, and the long raptor claws, right? She just got arrested for beating up her boyfriend. Think about this, guys, and while you're at it, don't blame everybody else. Look within yourself, make a change within yourself, and then consider if my actions and what I doing, is it contributing to this narrative or not? I love you. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. I'll see you guys Thursday. Peace.